Hello and welcome to Longevity Masters. I'm your host, Grant Hutchby. I'm joined with me today with Rupen Patel. And as you all know, before we get into who Rupen is and what he does, as you all know, this show is all about helping male entrepreneurs reverse their biological age and add life to their years as well as years to their life. And I'm on an absolute mission to claim back 10,000 years of life from male entrepreneurs. That's 1,000 male entrepreneurs reversing their age by at least 10 years. So here we have Rupen. So Rupen, for people who are meeting you for the first time, could you give us a quick snapshot of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, of course. And firstly, thank you for the invite onto the show. I'm very excited about it. I've been following your journeys for some while with Grant, and it's totally commendable for what you're doing. More about me. Yep, so I'll give you a small bio. My name's Rupen Patel. I am based in southeast London, not far from Greenwich. I've been living here all of my life, born and bred in southeast London. I'm a family man. I've got a very small family of 4 children and more kids than a goat farm, and married to Tracy. I've got my mum living here, bless her, and we talk about openly, like she's really coming into the stride with her dementia, which is quite sad to see. However, it's part of whatever she's got is part of her life cycle, and it's just fantastic that she knows that she's got grandchildren around her, and obviously myself and Tracy around her to support her. Myself and Tracy, we run 2 businesses. One is KWT Interiors, which is a professional design-led interiors business where we design and deliver kitchens and bedrooms and media walls and boot rooms and everything that every room that you need in your house. And then we've also got our property business, what I predominantly run. Tracy runs a KWT, I'll run the property business. That's Master Properties. And we've got a portfolio of buy-to-lets, HMOs. And we are really back in the game with property this year, nice. Looking at blocks of flats we're working with long leases with registered social housing providers via the government. So that is the strategy in itself for 26 and 27. Fine. And other than that, I'm a rugby coach for the under 7s kids.
Oh wow.
And that's fantastic. The little Reggie, he plays in the under 7s, and then I've sort of gone into lead coach that with a fantastic team of coaches in a fantastic community, which from our rugby team. Love my football, love DJing, love music, love health, love business. And I think the big thing for me, Grant, is that every day's a school day. That if I love learning. I'm a life learner.
And that is probably the main reason that you're on this show, Rupen, is because we share very, very similar values. We both want to be as young as we possibly can, do the best for our family, and just be the best version of ourselves and learn off of everything that comes at us every single day. And I really resonate with that. So thank you very much. So obviously this show is all about longevity, and longevity means different things to different people. A lot of people think longevity is self-explanatory, but actually there can be some slight nuances in what people believe longevity is. So when you hear the word longevity, what does that actually mean to you?
It's a word that has really come into fruition into my mindset just the last few years. Because when you're younger, Grant, like longevity, you think you want to live till forever, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you ply yourself with booze and kebabs and go out dancing and late nights, etc. Because you're going to live forever, aren't you? You know, because we're immortal.
When you're 40, and now we've already gone past that.
Yeah, it's like, but like I'm 54 years old, or 54 years young, as I like to say. I'm in the on paper, I'm in the back third of my life now. So at the early stages of the back third, only on paper. But for longevity for me now is having the ability, and you said earlier, is to reverse your metabolic age. You can't do your biological age, sorry, your actual age, because you are what you are, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, since I've been really focused on the health changes that I've made, which I'm sure we'll speak going forward shortly, I've realised by the metrics I'm using and the apps and the tools out there that you can reverse your age, and I'm good for that. And there's a few reasons when I hear longevity. There's a few reasons I'm very much affixed to creating that longevity in my life. One, and these are all markers in your life. And so my dad, he had his first heart attack at 32. He was really young. He then had four after that. And then, bless him, he passed away at 62. He did burn the candle at both ends. He was very much into the night scene with his restaurants and club entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial businesses.
Yeah.
And I guess life catches up with you, especially if you don't do something about it. If you're sticking, having a couple of whiskies and 20 fags a day, it's going to catch up with you. And it did him and that life. But here's the thing though, that longevity means one of the big things is that when I look back at my dad, mum's now with us, she's 80. And when I look at dad, who was 62 when he didn't see any of his grandchildren. And that's a massive burn for me, to have time with my grandchildren. But not only have time with my grandchildren, but be in a position where I'm fit and healthy and having that time. And I'm talking when I've got a 7 or even an 8 in front of my age, that I've got that energy for them. I want, if I have grandchildren, I want to say, Granddaddy, Saturday, let's go out. I want to have that energy for that, which I'm getting now. I'm getting now with my own children, but I'd love to have that with my grandchildren.
Yeah.
The other one, and it was a metric, not a metric, it sounds like too much of a goal, but I've been very fortunate. I don't know if she's fortunate or unfortunate. I'm going to go unfortunate, that Tracy is some 13 years younger than me. Sorry?
That'll keep you young.
Well, here's the thing. So I've been measuring my metabolic age. I've been doing, I guess it's some of the right things with health and fitness and mindset, would you believe? Right? And the mindset, because I think it all starts from the neck upwards and then works from the neck downwards.
100%.
Yeah. And then, but so she's 41, so I'm 54, 13-year gap. So then I started to do with the Whoop band and doing these metrics or your Garmin or your Blue Crest. And on my Whoop, the best practices I was putting in with exercise and sleep and recovery, actually I'm now, my metabolic age on Whoop is 49 years old.
Nice.
Right? So yeah, really good, really happy with it. I've got another 5 years of life than what's written on the paper. So then I just looked at Trace, I was having a chat and I was saying, and was saying, she goes, I'll look after you when you're older, I'll bath you and all that. And I go, but then I said to myself, wouldn't it be great for my metabolic age to be the same as hers?
Yeah.
And so we got longer together, and I've got that fitness and that activity and that mindset, and hopefully got with all God's blessings, I'm a stable. So we grow up, and I can spend more time with her, which sounds very romantic. But then she started to do 75 hard reverse, and she's doing same. And then she had a metabolic age on a Whoop. She's just had her metabolic age drop to 30 years old. I said, okay, you win. I'm going to let me just try it. Let me get down to the age that's written on your paper rather than your metabolic. So it's just like having more time on this fantastic earth that we are blessed to be here, really. If you look at, I'm quite a deep person. I'm sort of philosophical, and there's so many opportunities not to be living this life, but we've got the fortune that we are living this life. So make the best of it. I've done my bad moves in the past. I've done my bad habits in the past, which we'll talk about, and I'll be very, very open about it, because everyone can change, but as long as they've got the reason to change, and they were two of the reasons I changed. Plus, also, I love going on journeys with people, and the longer I'm about, I can then help people and learn from people that will help people, that I can learn from people, that I can help people, and see how it cascades upwards, right? It just cascades upwards. And the other one, and it's something that Dan Hill, who you know so well, right? He just said something, and he said it when I first started on his property entrepreneur program, was life is short, absolutely. So get the most out of it and try not to die with the music in you. So, you know, I want, one of my lessons learned last year was, especially around my children and Tracy and people in my orbit, was give what you've got. And because if that then moves their needle forward an inch, a millimetre, an inch, a foot, a mile, I'm not looking for a pat on the back, but it joys me no end whatsoever to see people move forward and develop. And that encompasses my definition of longevity.
Excellent. So, I mean, I love that, because what you essentially want is you want better years of life, so that you want to have better life now. Well, what actually people don't realise is, by focusing on having a better life now, being stronger, having more energy, being able to do more and be more present with your family, that will extend your overall life as well. Because you've got two things. You've got health span and lifespan. But what a lot of people don't realise is, if you extend your health span, you naturally extend your lifespan as well. And what we want is, we want to minimise the time between when our health span ends and when our lifespan ends. And that's what we essentially want, is we don't want much of a gap between those two, and we want to keep that going for as long as possible, which is why I fundamentally believe that focusing on now and having a better life now will give you a longer life. You can't control the amount of years that you've been on this earth. I'm 41, you're 54. However, we can control how old we are. And that's the point I'm trying to get across to people, is that you can be younger than what your years on this earth says you are. And you can also be older. And if you're older, it means you're going to die sooner than you should. But if you're younger, it means you're going to keep going and be able to, like you say, be here for not just your loved ones, but other people that might need you in their lives, to give them a form of inspiration, to help them on their journey. And that's the ultimate goal at the end of the day. And I've got a question for your journey in a second, but the point that I'm making to a lot of male entrepreneurs out there is that they feel like providing for their family is financial stability, which is almost why they do what they do, which is they get up every single day to create this financial stability for the people that they love around them, however many people that may be. But actually, if they lose their own longevity, they will be giving up the one thing that their family want more than anything else, is that they want them in their lives. And if you pop your clogs earlier than you should, right, all that your family are going to want is you back.
Yeah.
They're not going to want your money, right?
No.
They love the money, and they love the fact that you've provided for them financially. And yes, you probably do need to provide for your loved ones financially, but you need to be present in their lives for as long as possible. And that's what longevity does, which is why I believe that longevity, not finance, is the highest form of providing that we can give for our families and the people that we love. So interesting. I've seen part of your journey, and I might learn something from this as well, which would be really cool. Is talk us through some of the bad habits that you've been, and some of the shit that you've had to change over the last couple of years to get yourself to being younger than what your chronological age is.
And I totally agree with all of that. And just going back on, just before I start that though, just to touch on a point you made there, is the sooner I realised, and I'm sure the sooner you then realised, and anyone listening to this, the sooner you put the oxygen mask on yourself first, the more chance you'll have for everybody else.
That's why you have to do it on a plane.
Exactly, right? Do you know what I mean? And it's amazing though, when you start making these changes, your loved ones around you, like children, I'd love to talk about that a little bit later, is that they will not listen to what you say, they will do what you do.
Yeah.
So the changes you make, they will start mirroring it. And I'm seeing massive examples at the moment. And I'll speak about all 4 of them children. I know you've got your own tribe there as well, and you might find the same. They're watching what you do. I've seen some of the videos of your 2 young uns. They're watching what mum and dad are doing, and that's really important. So it all becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, doesn't it? You can have a self-fulfilling prophecy as a downward spiral, but you can also have it going on the upwards as well. And that's where we want to create these self-fulfilling prophecies, where it goes upwards and people around you, especially your most loved ones and nearest and dearest, are mirroring the great habits that you're now executing and showing examples of. But before all of that happened, and these lovely little changes that I'm ever so proud of myself for making, and that's really important, you know, it's like, be proud of the progress you make, and like, you know, and tell yourself that you're doing a good job, because your number one cheerleader in life is always going to be yourself, but people, but
and
only
your biggest
minority
critic
of
as well.
people. Sorry, mate?
And you are your biggest critic as well.
Exactly, but I think people, sorry to go on a tangent a little bit, that's what happens when you've got 2 blazes on a podcast, is what you've got there, though, is it's only a minority of time that we are cheerleaders for ourselves. We are majority of the time quite critical. So it's good to like just be a bit kind to yourself and go, come on, you know, you can.
It's that internal dialogue, isn't it? You know, the way that you talk to yourself sometimes, you wouldn't talk to anyone else like that. And actually, it's more damaging to yourself than it is anyone else. And that's the weird thing. And you're talking to yourself like that instead of going, oh, okay, well, that wasn't great. What did I learn from that? And if you change the communication from slandering yourself to finding out where the lesson was, then it becomes really powerful.
Exactly, and just like saying, and just like simple things, like it's amazing. The minute you start changing the language you speak to yourself, the more uppage you get in life. Yeah. Like, instead of saying, like, you're doing something, you might do something a bit dumbass, right? And you can say, oh, you stupid, effing this and effing that, right? You can say that inside in your head. But now I just change that language to do this. If I do something dumbass, right? Or I have a moment, I have a banana skin, a bit of a slip up, I'll go, it's not me being stupid, it was a stupid thing I done. It wasn't me being stupid, it was just a stupid thing I done. Yeah. And then here's a little key for you. Have a little laugh to yourself. Going on. Yeah,
don't take yourself so seriously all the time.
Yeah, it's just like, chill out, it's okay. And then what happens then, though, Grant, even in business, when you do something wrong, okay, no worries, have a laugh about it, go, man, like, that's not going to happen again, right? He goes, and that's write that in your book, that's not going to happen again. But what then happens is, when things happen externally to you, your mindset and your view of it is different, but then you approach it differently as well. Correct. Rather than get into a rage or angry or make up these stories how shit and bad life is, right? You go, right, it's okay, these challenges in life are going to happen. And the minute you can embrace that as well, is then it doesn't affect your travel or direction with your health. And if you get a big problem, what's the first thing going? Oh, I've got to sort this problem out, and I'm thinking about it, I lose sleep, I'm a bit stressed with it. I need a pint, I need a Jack Daniel. You know what I mean? And it just, all these things start coming into it. Only if we just talk to ourselves a little bit nicer and just laugh at a few situations. And then what that then does is then that then escalates the magnitude, the magnitude of how we look at problems and how we look at solutions in all various types of life, whether it's external, whether it's close to home or more remote. It's just like the way you look at things. You become a lot more stoic as well with it. And it all started just by how you talk to yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
And what's the old proverb? I think, therefore I am.
Yes, yeah, 100%. And I think that was probably one of my biggest game changers. How I talk. Also, like, just through the the meditation I do now, which like I've been at it about 3 or 4 years, the practice you have and letting thoughts go, not storytelling to yourself, having more gratitude, having more focus on the desires that you want that are selfless, not selfish as well, really help you with general issues in life, topics in life, challenges in life as well. Which again go back onto the first thing that has ever happened. I remembered many times where I've had a massive issue or I've not dealt with a problem properly and there's been a problem. It's the first thing that goes is health in one capacity or the other, always. And like I said, my relationship to sleep and recovery, especially over the last year, has become very special.
Oh my God, it's the most important thing that you can do every single day. So why don't you talk us through some of the crap you used to do to make yourself older?
Apologies, I went off on a tangent there,
that's
but
right.
yeah, hopefully
that's my job. Bring us back into the game.
Yeah, back into So with the bad habits, and I won't hold back because it is what it is, and life.
People want to hear this shit. That's the important stuff, because you might say something that someone else is doing.
I tell you what. So the John Lewis advert, the Christmas advert, Alice in Limerick, right? It was the old school raver fella. We were kids. We were 15, 16. We were going to the rave. I don't need to write it on a banner, but you know what goes on there, right? And then, you do that. It was that rave scene, and I don't know what effect it done, but luckily I've come out unscathed, I believe. And it was a fabulous time. So that sort of abuse when we were younger, albeit, I'd love to say take me back because there were some of my best years with friends and family and music. But then you get into corporate, then you get into work, and then you get into, and like I was a smoker, right? I was like 20 cigarettes a day.
Wow.
I was in corporate, 20, it was a box of cigarettes a day. You need a bridging loan to buy cigarettes now because they're so expensive. But, then some of the bad habits were having a job, corporate. It was like drinking on the weekends. It was nights out. It was curries. It was not a lot of exercise. It was like get up at 5 o'clock, into the office at 6:30, back home by 7, eat your dinner, watch a bit of TV, go to bed.
And how long ago was this?
I did that for 25 years.
And what was your mutation back then? Why did you not look after yourself and all the rest of it? Why
it was just the time, and because I think what happens when you're younger and you've got that fitness, well, that element of fitness,
vitality,
young,
youthful vitality.
Exactly, youthful, spot on. It was that youthful vitality, Grant, and just the focus of protecting the family, paying a mortgage, getting a house, but also keeping a status. That was quite. If I look back at it, it's keeping a status. Like I was in corporate, I'd worked my way through the promotional tiers.
Work the ranks.
I was a warehouse boy in a company warehouse that done trade product it was Magnet back in '96. A warehouse lad. I was come off the market stalls from down Bermondsey near Tower Bridge. I got a job in Magnet on the Old Kent Road. Rough as, mind you, I knew a few people because that's where we was sort of brought up around there, and then I sort of progressed through the ranks of management from warehouse into sales, into assistant manager, into manager, and then different branches, and then ended up in the boardroom over a 25-year period.
Your journey sounds exactly like mine. I went from market stall to working in a shop to management to regional management and then being in head office.
And these things. But what happens? You go along with it, and I did that for 25 years. From 25 years old up to 50 years old, I did that whole journey. When I look back at it, there was times where there was times where I had no fitness in my life. There was nothing going on. It was purely the only bit of fitness I had was a good few corporate golf days. That guess what you're doing on them corporate golf days?
Drinking beer while you're going round,
having a drink, late nights and curries. So that was like 25. Then when I look back at it, I goes, you've probably done, it's 25 years when I was coming out of 50. And I'd actually then, there was a restructuring. I didn't want to go with a restructuring. There wasn't a position for me, but basically we shook hands and we departed. I was a bit gutted. I'm sort of growing up. I thought I was going to be in the company for the rest of my life. I did love the brand. It was an excellent company. I don't know what it's like so much now because it's been some while. But then I come in and then the first thing I wanted to do was go. I said to Tracy, I said, look, this is what's happening. It was quite a shocker as it goes because all of a sudden you lose all of that financial security. But here's the other one, right? I felt really empty for a while because I'd lost that status as well.
Yeah, I know what you mean about that. You walk around the place and go to different places, and because you're in the position that you're in, you have this certain level of respect off of everyone around you, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's that respect and that but it's all plastic though, isn't it? I think it's all plastic.
Totally.
It's like, I've learned more about me and more about me over the last 5 years than I have probably in my first 50. I've really learned a lot about me, right? The ego I needed a rewire. I don't know about you, Grant. Did you find that coming out of corporate, you needed a bit of a rewire?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah? And it's
100%. I went the other way. I was working, 80-hour weeks, and I just literally dropped my hours off of a cliff, went from a really well-oiled, organised machine that would be able to cover loads of ground to not really wanting to work at all when I quit and went to be an entrepreneur. And then I had to get a much better relationship with it because I spent the first year and a half of our entrepreneurial journey, I was still working full-time as well as setting up the business. And I just went hell for leather for about 18 months. And when I eventually quit my job, because Kay had already quit her job and was running the company, I just switched off. And I had to get a better relationship with how I was going to work and structure my day. And it probably took me about a year to get back into it.
Sorry. Absolutely sorry, Grant. Someone's going to come through the front door. My apologies. Yeah, absolutely. And it takes that rewire. And I'm with you 100%. And I had the same conversations with Tracy as well. And I guess to a point, I'm still going to undo 25 years of being wired differently. I'm still going through that process.
Yeah, 100%. So this is a few years ago that you started to make a change. Was there a big moment where you started thinking, I need to change this? Like, talk us through that.
I'll tell you what happened. I told you about my dad, and I told you about having that longevity seeing the grandchildren like I do. Massive game changer, and this was pre-Property Entrepreneur where we met. So this was in 2021. So 2020, I've left my corporate job. I'm now going into the wilderness. The only thing I've ever known was that job. I knew that I wanted to get into property. I had a portfolio already. I said, well, I'm going to go and get an education, and went for it. I was still smoking at that point, by the way. Still smoking cigarettes at that point. Wasn't burning the candle at all at both ends, but was having a good beer on the weekends, and the kebabs were flying around. And, that lifestyle had ebbed away to a degree, not to the magnitude it was, but we're still there. I was still doing it. There wasn't a plan of health and etc. I just went from corporate into this, go and buy some property, go and do some refurbishments, because I'm pretty good around refurbishments. I've always done my own. But then I started to go to a place that I said, you know what, I need to get fit again. So I started to go to this outdoor boot camp, which I've been doing for a little while. So I was training a little bit in my latter years of the corporate job. It was January 2021, and I'd gone out to do an outdoor training session, 2021. I've got now 4 children. Sean was the eldest, 2021, 4 years ago. So he was sort of 16, 17. And then little Reggie and Marnie, they were pretty much toddlers and babies. And then Anika was right in the middle. And I'd gone out training, and I had a really good week. So I used to go to this boot camp, and I loved it because it gave me, freedom. It was outdoors. I love being outdoors. I was getting a good workout in it. It's really sort of, working out with nature. Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, I was getting more regular over that first year. Then they called on a pop-up session on a Saturday morning. And I remember it was like the 15th, just after New Year's. It was quite a heavy Christmas, cigarettes, drinking, overdosing on food, etc. But I got back into the training. And then on that Saturday, they called up a pop-up session. I went to it. It was bitterly cold that day, bitterly cold. And we were doing long runs. And we'd done the session. There was a lot of kettlebells, a lot of farmers walks. It was all outdoors, tank ropes. It was a real heavy one. Sprints, burpees. I'm just like, I've gone from one extreme to the other. And all of a sudden I was doing this run, and then right at the end I was running back, and I was like, the air, it was like burning my chest. Do you know when it's so cold outside and you're breathing so that the coldness burns your chest and your windpipe? And then I started to get a cramp in my shoulder. I'm going, oh man, because I've been doing burpees, cut a long story short, and I went home, and in the car I couldn't get rid of this cramp. It was horrible. It was really dull. I got home, no one was in, and I laid on the bed and I thought, oh, this is horrible. Really bad feeling, really bad, throbbing pain. Got out of bed. I thought, let me go and eat something. I must be hungry. I ate something. I couldn't get it down. I laid on the bed and I started to go blacking out a little bit. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I woke up. I said, get up. I got out of my bed, Tracy, the kids, no one was there. And I rang the ambulance. I said, look, this is how I'm feeling. I don't know, I never ever call an ambulance. I think that's probably the second ambulance I've ever called in my life. I said, it's about me. I said, don't panic, I'm fine, I'm talking to you, but these are my symptoms. They gave me about 4 questions, and honestly, Grant, the cavalry arrived, right? Wow. 2 ambulances, 2 paramedics, knocking on the door, smashing the door down. It was only my mum was here. She got in a panic. They come, where's your son? They show he's upstairs, come running up, laid me on the bed, piped all over me. And it was basically, they called it a minor heart attack, but there is no minor heart attack. There's no major heart attacks. It's a heart attack. It was an artery blocked up, and it was brought up, I don't know, whatever brought up. And it then led to me having a stent fitted at the age of 50. And then that, my friend, was the crossroads that took me down this direction that we'll talk about shortly. So that's them game changers, isn't it? You're either gonna do health and change your lifestyle because you don't want it to happen, or things like that make you change. It's just unfortunate though, my friend, and I've seen it so many times that even these traumatic events of whatever scale or whatever magnitude, I've used that word a few times, but whatever it is, people still don't change. And that's the, so yeah, but I was fortunate to go, you know what, I've got too much to live for. That shouldn't be happening to me. My dad didn't make 62 and I didn't want that. And see when it all just coils back into what I was talking about before with my dad. I'm going at 50. And it was just because, coin a phrase, even in health, success and failure are very predictable.
100%. 100%. And actually you said something really interesting, which is like you went hell for leather. Like some people, and this is where a lot of people go wrong, is something will happen and they go, right, I need to sort my health out, and they'll go hell for leather on something. And it's almost like, I mean, this sounds a bit extreme, but like a heroin addict or an alcoholic dropping or heroin altogether and not having some sort of like plan to get themselves off of it. Because, you know, if you're fat and unhealthy and not been moving around very much, and then you go outside and try and do a marathon or an Ironman, you're going to kill yourself. Like, you've got to build up to that. And it's a long process. Like you said, it took you 25 years to get to that point. Like, it's not going to get you 25 years to fix it, but it's certainly going to take you more than a couple months. Right? Yeah. And a lot of people think that they can fix all of their problems within a couple months and go back to what they were doing before, but it's not. Changing their lifestyle so that they can sustain it for the long term while still enjoying their life. And that's the cool thing. But I guess what did you start changing first? And what was the process that you went through to basically get to where you're at now?
Yeah, I think so. For the first, so after that, I just said, right, I'm gonna just lose weight. That's like, let's get healthy. So first thing I did, got rid of the cigarettes. Got rid of the cigarettes. I did start vaping sorry?
Cold turkey?
No, vaping. And now...
switched from cigarettes to vapes, did you?
Yeah, and then just cascade that down to nicotine. And I'll be truthful, now and again, if I'm out and about, I'll have a vape, but it's no nicotine. It's just more of that habit and just carrying that out. So that's my next thing. But everything's done. But there's not it's in to go. That's my only vice left in my life now. The only thing. But got rid of the smoking of the cigarettes, of that. I'm not with the smell of people smoking around me, but for me, Tracy said it's disgusting. So got rid of it, and then I started to just read more about my relationship with food and what foods I was eating, and basically just from 2021 up to pretty much 2021, and then going on to the blueprint with Property Entrepreneur, where they were so health focused. And I thought, I've never seen this before. And then joining the program and then getting in. And then I did my first, in 2022, I did my first Stoptober. And it was funny because like a couple of little things, I didn't drink Monday to Thursday. That stopped. Not even the 1 or 2 bottles. But then on a Friday, me, Trace, will get a box of Budweisers, and that will last all weekend. But actually, what that meant was we was drinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
So then going to PE, and then they started to do a thing called Stoptober. No drinking in October.
Yeah. October.
People said, sober October. That's it, Stoptober, sober October. And I was coming back on my way from Birmingham, and I rang Tracy up. I said, I want to do something, right? It's going to sound really unusual, but I'm not going to drink at all in October. She goes, no, none at all. And I said, and she goes, Dad's not drinking for October. He's doing sober October. And I got home, and all the kids were around, and my eldest son, who was then, he was 18, 19, maybe a little bit older, 18. And he just turned me, he goes, Dad, you're doing Stoptober? I said, yeah. He goes, you do know that you've organised the beer festival in 2 weeks with all your best mates. Right, and I've totally forgot that we was going to this beer festival over in Camden Town at the Electric Ballroom. And I've been bigging it all up through the summer. We booked it ages ago. And I was selling like 2 big 2-pint litres, like pints of beer. I'm going, and honestly, the anxiety leading up to it was another level. But I just said to myself, you know what, I'm gonna go in there, goal set, I'm gonna have 3 bottles of water, I'm gonna tell the boys I'm not drinking, this is the reason why, I'm gonna have 3 bottles of water, I'm gonna leave a little bit early, have a good time, and on the way home, I'm gonna reward myself with a Diet Coke, right? I'm gonna get home. 2 things, I went to it, I got there a little bit later, had a lovely time with all my mates. Started to get a bit anxious to tell them I'm going to be leaving early. I didn't need to, because seeing all your best mates and everyone and all the boys drinking pints of 2 glasses of beer for 4 or 5 hours, I've never the deterioration of the human in front of your eyes is quite a laughable matter. It really is. It's like watching people get drunk or intoxicated is brilliant. Stayed with it, love them to pieces, go and enjoy yourselves. It was like, these were my goals. So a couple of things there is, when I'm on a sabbatical from drinking and I've got to go to an event that I could drink, I'd love a drink, by the way, I do enjoy it, I do like it, but actually I just go there, I set my goal, I'm going to have 3 bottles of water and a Diet Coke as a reward. So I'm just like setting little goals all the time.
Yeah.
Done that, guess what? Woke up in the morning right as rain. So that was my first time I'd given up drinking. I've been looking at my food and how I was eating through the week. Then coming into 23 and 24, coming out of corporate, I was nearly 110, no, probably pushing 115 kilos. Massive, really fat. I was fat. I'd like to say it's muscle, but it was just fat. I just carried it well. Do you know what I mean? You get people.
Yeah, I'm the same, mate. I'm the same. I got up to 120 kilos and was carrying it very, very well.
Yeah, you don't. You can hide it. And then some people don't hide it so well, unfortunately. But yeah, then I think
that's awful. Is when you carry it well.
Exactly. And then from 23 to 24, I said, really went on, get the fight. People introduced me to MyFitnessPal, which was starting to log in food and food diaries. And then I started just to change my relationship with food. However, Monday to Friday, I was a king, really superstar. Saturdays and Sundays, I was like Dr. Evil popped out, it was my treats, etc. And then last year, so coming into 23, 25, I said, look, I need to level up here. And basically, I've got my weight down I've been sort of cascading down, and I've got it to about 90, from last September to the following September, I've sort of been plateauing at about between 93 kilos.
Okay.
And it wasn't shifting, but I was holding like 34% body fat. And then I thought, right, I need to really level up. So then last year, for the first 6 months, really getting some really good habits, watching what I was eating, logging my food, but then it was sporadic. The best times I've had my weight losses was when I was logging regularly to them habits. It's the minute you come away from that, it's like the bowling alley. I need the rubber sides up there. I just need to know.
So a lot of your success more recently has come from tracking everything and what you're doing. Is that right?
Yeah, massively. I'm tracking. I'm a bit. I'm addicted to it, but not that it overtakes my life and I'm, the millimeter man or the milliliter man. I'm just like, I need to see it. What am I doing? It just keeps. It's like that. Like I said, the bowling alley. Instead, you bowling, but when the guards come up, so it doesn't go in the gutter. It's my guard. I can stay in my lane. But then what happened was, and I was enjoying it, and I was sort of taking some dips, and the top end of the year till about September, I was down from sort of 34. Actually, it was 35, 36% body fat. I got it down to about 29. So I was slowly doing it and having some really good habits. Come September, I just got married. And I thought, right, I like these little level ups. And I started to do some work with a gentleman you had on here. I'm close with Matt Dolman. Matt Dolman done some fantastic work. Started to have a good chat with Matt and talk about habit stacking, James Clear, Atomic Habits. Yeah. And then I just really started to habit stack from September all the way to December. And I said, let me just do them 3 months. Let's just really go for it. And it dropped down. I got down to about 87 kilos, dropped another couple percent just by habit stacking and just like doing, drink up water, focused on body fat rather than weight. The one thing I found about weight as well, losing weight and not doing the weight training with it, I lost a lot of strength.
Yeah, it's huge for longevity, is having that strength.
Yeah, absolutely. And then from there, but I started to get back in the gym, more resistance training, just simple pull days, push days, leg days. I love my HIIT sessions, really got into my HIIT sessions. I'm to be with David Lloyd, and David Lloyd's do a HIIT session called Blaze, which I'll thoroughly enjoy. And then coming into December, I come off the retreat with PE. I think you was down in Nottingham, you was at Nottingham at the same time. And myself and Josh Keegan were talking about 75 hard. And I tried it before, about a year and a half before, and I lasted 2 days. It was like marathon. I didn't even last 2 days. I did get ill. I just didn't get back into it. So I said 75. I love a level up. I just like level up. Whatever it is, I love a challenge. For the long as just the right challenge. Just something that really gets my juices flowing. I can get my teeth stuck in. And honestly, I thought about it all the retreat. I'm going, do you know what, Rubes, you can do this for 75 days. And then I woke up in the morning, one morning, and I said to myself, if I do the 75 days, and if I then get all the gains from the disciplines, the habits, and obviously the health benefits of it all that comes with it, that will, if I started after Christmas, by the end of March, I would have been done. If I start on the 1st of January, I'll be done. So, and I'll be a better version of myself. I've leveled up. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for summer. Here we go, for business, for life, for kids, for health, wealth, and happiness, right? So I'm going, right, let's go for it. Anyway, sat on it. Then we had our entrepreneur, and I met Ian Bauer, as you know so well, right? Ian Bauer. We was having a little chat. It was about 10 o'clock at night. It was like the 14th of, it was like a Tuesday the 14th of, no, the Wednesday 14th, I think, and of December. And I was talking to him about it, about 75 hard. And he goes, well, are you going to do it? Because he'd done it. I think he's done it a couple of times. And he goes, you're going to do this 75 hard? I said, yeah. He goes, when are you going to do it? You know what he's like, right? He's goal setting, brilliantly driven, and I love it. And he said to me, when are you going to do it? And I said, obviously that was a bit aggressive. He goes, when are you going? I said, probably between Christmas and New Year's, or maybe on just after New Year's. He goes, why? Do it tomorrow. Do it effing tomorrow. Don't have no excuses. Just get it done. I'm going, what, on the 15th of December, before Christmas? I've got to do 2 workouts. I go, do you know what? He goes, yeah, do it tomorrow. And we had a lovely chat about it. Honestly, Grant, it played on my mind all night. Why can't I sacrifice it? That's all about the discipline. Why do I need to, have like half a litre of Bucks Fizz on a Christmas Day morning, and then I got home and I said to Trace, and I was getting a load of anxiety. I said, Trace, I know I've been off the beer and all that for three months already, but I'll let you know tomorrow, just letting you know, I don't want you involved, go and enjoy. I'm going to start 75 hard. And she knows what 75 hard is.
Yeah.
So I looked at her, she looked at me, she goes, okay, I'll do it with you. And I went, really? Right. Yeah. So, and now basically, long story short, I am on day 43. I've been working out twice a day, 1 indoor, 1 outdoor, or 2 outdoors sometimes. And I'm now down to my best adult weight I've ever been. I'm lifting the heaviest weights I've ever lifted in my adult life. I'm doing my best HIIT sessions that I've ever done. My body fat's now sub 24, which was in line with this year's goal of getting it sub 20. I'm sharper. I feel loads more clarity. I've got loads more energy. I just feel good. I'll say that. It's a massive U-turn.
Such an amazing story, and I think a lot of be able to resonate with that fact that you had the corporate lifestyle. You taxed your body for quite a long time. Even if someone hasn't been in corporate, but has been an entrepreneur their whole lives, they probably, when they were younger, would have had the lifestyle of going out and partying, a bit like your dad, where they were in the nightclubs and the nightlife and the restaurants, and that take on you. But you mentioned one thing about habit stacking and habit tracking and tracking your metrics and looking at things. And the excuse that I get from people about why they don't track these things is because they don't want to get obsessive with it. But my argument is it's not about metrics in the moment, in the morning, on the day. What it's about is about checking your habits and your metrics over a period of time to see what the trends look like. And I am using the analogy of we need to treat our bodies like they're a business. Like, you wouldn't run your business without knowing all of the performance metrics, would you? You wouldn't be able to improve the performance of your business if you didn't know what areas of your business you needed to improve. And you wouldn't be able to have a highly performing business if you didn't give your staff good habits, or you didn't have good habits in the way that you approach your business day. But what perplexes me is that we can always start up a new business if this business fucks up, but you can't get a new body, right? You're stuck with this body for the rest of your life. And if you want to get the most out of it, you need to treat it like it's your business, and you need to track it and figure out what are the trends and the areas that will make this business of your body better. And I think that is a massive message to send out to people, is to don't be afraid of these tracking things that tell us what our body is doing inside before we see it on the outside. Because you might much fatter than you were. When you step on that scale and it tells you that your body fat has gone up by 1%, You might not be able to see that on the surface, but your scale will tell you it. And you'll know you need to start making some changes before you start looking fatter. And that's obviously a way of looking at it, but there's loads of other metrics like your sleep and things like that. You may be feeling fine, but you've had 3 or 4 late nights and your sleep is tanked and your energy hasn't caught up with you yet. You're still feeling okay, but your metrics are telling you you need to get a good night's sleep tonight, otherwise your energy is going to start to tank, you know? Yeah. And that's what I think is really important. So
really important. Also, you'll be surprised how much the lack of sleep, lack of recovery, bad diet, too much drinking actually affects the way you think or how sharp you are,
how you make decisions in your business.
Exactly. Like right now, with pressure more than we've ever have, as we scaled, and we had a tough, probably one of our years as we scaled, levels and devils, but it's all part of the growing pains. And I think Tracy especially, where we was on, because she's always married my journey, and she's always joined the journey, and she's done phenomenally well, and she's like not only my supporter, but she's also a fantastic person to be alongside doing it. And when that happens, like yourself and Kay, when you're both doing it, the journey is so more beautiful, and plus it works a lot better. You can work it a lot better, and it works a lot better as well. So yeah, I mean, but because of the way we'd adjusted our lives, and I'd adjusted my life more so, her step change was smaller, a lot smaller than I had to make, right? But the fact she was doing it with us, but because we were both off the drink, like we was doing like 3-6 month sabbaticals, and then having a couple of beers and going, we were proper cheap. We are proper cheap dates now. Like we are, yeah. But now you can become foodies, because we're going, well, we haven't drunk for 6 months. Well, let's go and like smash out. We love steak, and it's probably music to your ears. We are meat eaters and good meat eaters. We love the protein, but we just love that whole. We love the fine dining experience, but we also love our steak and meats, etc. Turkish, Greek, we love it. So we spend our money there, and we can talk, and we're not drinking. It's like really fantastic, fluid conversations about business, about kids, about life, about kitchen business, about economics, about her education, my education, and just the whole conversation.
You reward yourself in different ways, don't you? Than going and having a piss or whatever. That's not what it's anymore. And I actually took a real simplistic approach, because I looked at my kids, the ones that don't drink, because I've got one that's older, but I look at, I think, do you know what? They have a good time without drinking. When did it change? When did it change that I need to have a drink to have a good time? They don't. And it's funny that they're kids and I'm not. So if I want to be younger, learn to have a good time without having to put something that changes your chemistry in your brain. Yeah. There's ways of having a good time without intoxifying your body. And our kids do it, so why can't we? When did that fucking change?
It is crazy. It is. I was talking to some guys at the gym, and they're Monday clean. They're in the gym, and then one of them goes, I do 2,000. I do IPA over the weekend.
Yeah.
I said, don't worry about the calories. Like, you've got young kids. If you're drinking that amount, what are you giving them? It's like, but the other thing is, again, Ian Bauer said he said it in a podcast once because he liked that, and he said that when he had not been drinking, as he stopped drinking, life got into colour and become like HD. I never really got it. I kind of get it now.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm more sharp. Yeah. I see the wheel. I see life differently. I see things that I never. Self-awareness improves as well. Do you know what I mean? It's because your mood changes. There's such a drag through excessive drinking or regular drinking, I think, and bad diets, etc. But going back onto that car analogy, with the. Haven't you? I say that to kids now. I said, like, because now the two older ones, and they're all sporty, you know, the whole family is sporty. The girls into their singing, dancing, acting, and Marnie she's 8 years old. She does hit sessions with me, dad and daughter hit sessions down the gyms. They do a parents one. Reggie's rugby and boxing. Sean, you know, like the big lad, he's playing American football. So they're doing the sports. I just need to get their diet. So the big thing I say to them, and to all four of them, because I do a hour sort of daddy coaching, but it's not coaching. It's like just daddy time with them. Just daddy time. Without Tracy, without any of the other kids, I'll have like my hours. And I've been the big subject for me is like what card you want. And but remember, this car that you choose is the only car you're going to have for the rest of your life. And then we talk about how you're going to fuel it, how you're going to look after it, how you're going to dress it, what's it going to smell like, how do you want to drive it, etc., etc. And they go this, and they really get it. Even the eldest was like, "Yeah, I want to do this, and I want to get."
Do you want a Lamborghini or an old banger?
Yeah, well, I said, what fuel are you into it? What sort of fuel? And they're going to go, we're going to put the premium fuel in it. And okay, do you know what? I can't wait for you to have that. I cannot wait for you to have that car. But do you know what I want you to do? See the way you talked about that beautiful car, how you fuel it, how you look after it, how you love it, how you talk to it. How are you going to talk to it? Oh, I love you, car. You're my only car. You've got me for the rest of the life. Say that to your body and do that to your body. And for the young ones, it wasn't some light bulb moment, but for the two older ones who were on their driving lessons and tests at the moment, it was a light bulb moment.
Yeah, guess what? They could relate to it, couldn't they?
Yeah. Now they're training a bit harder. Anika, she's 19, she's doing 75 soft, which is one session a day, but she's keeping it. It's all these little habits. People are watching you. Yeah. Your kids are watching you.
So at the end of the day, you know, sorting out all this stuff has made you show up for your family better, show up for your business better, and it's made you appreciate the life and everything that you've got in it around you better. And that has such a compounding effect. And a lot of businessmen forget about the fact that if they focused on their longevity, the reason that they're not focusing on it is because they're trying to make their business as good as they possibly can do, or they're trying to earn as much money as they possibly can. But actually, that it would have a more positive effect on their business if they were to focus on their longevity. And I don't think people appreciate that. So someone listening to this feels like they've let things slide like you and I did in the past. What would you want them to know?
There's a better version of themselves out there in them. I think there's a better version, and it's of work there. And don't think there isn't a better version. The other thing is that health becomes priority over wealth. Wealth will come. But if you fix your health, then hopefully you could be working all God and hours sends, earning whatever, 50,000, 25,000, whatever your number is, 100,000, 200, 500,000, 1 million, whatever it be. But if your health's not there, just don't be the richest person in the graveyard, right? Because you've got kids there, right? It's so important. Pushing daisies with a load of money in the bank, that's not helping nobody, especially your own children and your loved ones and everyone around you. The other one I learned last year, and I was that many years old before it sort of clicked, is two things about health. Is one, that it needs to be the foundation of life, and two, they're not fads. It's a process. It's a progression, part of life. The minute you think that health and being on a health tip, and this is what I say to myself a lot. It's like, it's not what you do over a period, it's what you do consistently and persistently. And use the 80-20 rule. Hey, look, we've got to live life a little bit.
Same,
Do you know what I mean? You know, like I'm not clucking for beer, but I'm looking forward to having a couple of pints of beer at the end of March when I come off 75 hard. I'm looking forward to it.
And that's a great reward, and you're planning for that, and you'll enjoy it more because you won't slip off the wagon and go and get pissed and feel like shit the next day. You're planning to look forward to it. you'll really appreciate those 2 beers. You'll make them last a really long time, and you won't feel like crap the next day.
Yeah, exactly. Now though, because do you know when I said to you in 2022 we've done Sober October?
Yeah.
Did that Sober October. I actually then done the November. I did the whole of Christmas. I did the whole of January. I did February, and then March. Got to March, and then March the 4th we went to a do, and the wheels fell off, and I was in pieces for a week after that. It was like, but now you learn from these, right? You learn from these. Now you have a couple of pints, Grant, and then but now I'm easy. I can have a pint and a pint of water, pint. I'm enjoying it. It's like I'm going for the taste. I'm not going there to go and tell a load of jokes and start ripping your mates and like you know what it's like with the lads, right? So it's just enjoyable. Just enjoy it. Having that reward. I'm looking forward to going out to a nice restaurant, having a little bit of dessert, but then getting back on the train. I think the art of consistency is, and these sort of habits is the ability to let the pendulum swing one way and let you find its centre again and come back onto track.
Yeah,
it's got to be consistent.
We're not perfect, and if you've got the 80% of doing things right 80% of the time, and you plan to enjoy yourself the extra 20% of the time, it allows you to have that flexibility in your life, and you're less likely to fall off the wagon and destroy the progress that you've made. And that's what I want to do. So, a couple more questions just to wrap things.
Sure.
What would someone who thinks it's too late to get it all back?
Define too late, not you. To get them to define too late. I've been doing it, especially over the last 5 or 6 years. But the trigger was when I was just turned 50. And I still didn't embrace it. The way I'm looking at it, my goal now is be training and be regular with all my habits till I pop my clogs. Basically, because it's a lifestyle thing. You're not too old. You're not too. Do you know one thing I did say? And I was like, my big lad in the weights is American football player, and so he's his strength and his position as on the line. You're up against some big, strong people, men. But now because of 75 hard, we got to train twice a day. So on a Friday night or a Saturday night. Once we put the kids to bed, me and Tracy are going to the gym and doing, having a training session together on a Friday and Saturday. What I love seeing up there is young people now, young kids up there training on a Friday and Saturday night, and then getting a protein shake, and then they're going home. They're not going out, right? And I love that. So I don't think that there is. You're not too young to start training. 8-year-old Marnie, I've got to doing HIIT sessions, just like it's junior HIIT sessions.
Yeah, nice.
Nothing's too old. I'm speaking to guys down the gym who are 80, 85. I love having a chat with them guys. But they're doing it. They go up there. They're on the Stairmaster or they're on a treadmill. But what it is like in the book Ikigai, it's like keep moving no matter what your age you are. Like older people are doing Tai Chi. They're eating plates of food that resemble the colour of the rainbow. They're moving. They're doing a bit of gardening. It's like no one's too old to start working on their health. Nobody.
Yeah, and I heard something the other day which really resonated with me, which was if you're constantly talking about the past and not talking about what you're going to achieve in the future, that's usually the sign of the demise. Because while it's good to be grateful for the things that you've done in the past, if you don't have a goal or anything to aim for in the future or something to work towards, that's usually the sign of decline. And that's what Ikigai is all about. Ikigai is all about not ever retiring, about continuing on. This life is meant to be lived. Let's keep living it. Let's keep going. Let's keep doing the things that we're always doing, and we'll enjoy life a lot more. So, the only thing to finish on is just making sure that people can contact you and any final sentiments that you've got. So obviously this will be in the show notes, but if someone wants to get in contact with you, Rupen, talk about your journey, talk about your businesses or whatever, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
You can email me at on Facebook. I'm Rupen Patel. You'll see this.
Yeah, include your Facebook link in the
Instagram is Rupen Patel Property. And the email for the best email is Rupen RUPEN at Rupen RUPEN at mykwt.co.uk. And if there's anyone I can help with or give a bit of advice or sharing in my story, more than welcome to do that. So excellent. Yeah, I hope some of that's really helped somebody out there, and it's been an absolute fantastic podcast. Done a lot of talking, but I've got a lot to share.
Yeah, we went over the hour as well, which was expected. But any final sentiments that you'd like to leave listeners with?
Yeah, just look, I think start small, micro habits. That's how I started, just doing the small little thing. Just go and read. First book I'd say, James Clear, Atomic Habits. Yeah. I think there's a great book, health book, Akash Vakela's is an excellent book. I'd say I've learned a lot from you as well, Grant, on your journey on Carnivore, on the Carnivore Entrepreneur Show, watching you and your journey. You're a gift that never stops giving. So, just start listening and reading the stuff that's going to help you make these changes, and then start with micro habits that will push you towards your bigger habits, and then you watch it all stack and compound upwards. And that's what happened to me, and I'm still trying to do these micro habits now, even with the vaping now, right? I want to get rid of the vaping, so I bought one of the breathe pens, so I'm on that breathe pen, so I try to do that. And also, if you're really struggling with any form of addiction, whether it's, and even slight bits of addiction, or getting rid of a sweet tooth or your alcohol or whatever it is do the hour method. It's like, don't you want a bit of chocolate, don't have it for an hour, and you go, okay, let's not have it for another hour.
Every hour
and then reset it. So
that's a great one. And they say take each day at a time. You can take each hour at a time as well, can't you? So it's like, don't think with hard, don't think, oh God, I've got to do this for 75 days. Just do this for a day, and then
exactly,
do it for another day, and then do it for another day. And when you're in and it's like, you want to have a drink, just say, look, I'm not going to have a drink for an hour. And when it's finished an hour, not for another hour and another hour. And by the time you've done it for a few hours, it's time to go to bed. And then you haven't had a drink. So I think that's a great advice. And this conversation has really highlighted quite a few things. But the one thing that I want to draw from it is just add little things in at a time. I think is a massive one. Treat your body like the car that you're going to have forever, and you're never going to get another car. Or like a business that you'll never have any other business. It's your only ever source of income that you'll ever have, so you don't want to lose that income. And lastly, it's never too late to start, and you can always get going with it. And I think that's sort of the things that I've taken from the conversation. And actually, you're an inspiration, Rupen. It's been really a pleasure to see your journey, even that I've seen. And actually, before I saw you were a lot worse before that. So, it sounds like that you've been on an incredible journey. And so we'll leave
change as good as the rest, Grant. Change as good as the rest, and the change is beautiful.
That's it.
But also back at you, it's like what you're teaching people. I'm learning from you. It's just that self-fulfilling prophecy going upwards again. You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, or what you listen to.
Absolutely. So
fantastic. Thank you, Grant,
for joining me, and I hope to see everyone that's listening to this next time. And remember one thing: be young, be happy, and be free, people. Take care.
Excellent.